this to protect people from oppressive government. To make that extra clear, we added the 10th Amendment. Powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution. In other words, if the powers aren't written in here, those powers are reserved to the states or to the people. At the time, America had 13 states, and as more territories became states, there were more chances for people to say, we don't like what those other states are doing. We want to go a different way. And so today, people like to say this.
States are the laboratories of democracy.
The laboratories of democracy.
The state laboratories of democracy.
Yeah, we libertarians like competition, so 50 states gives us some. But today, the federal government often doesn't let that competition happen. Nick Gillespie is editor of the libertarian website Reason.com. Nick, when I was 18, drinking alcohol was allowed in most states at age 18, so that was good state experimentation. What happened?
Yeah, well, the great federalist, Ronald Reagan, who ran on a campaign of what he called the new federalism of decentralizing power to the states, passed a funding mechanism so that all the states, basically, if they wanted highway federal dollars,
you want the money, you better raise it to
21. And that's what happened. So, you know, we like laboratories of democracy, bar rooms of democracy, not so much. And this is the real gist of federalism. Everybody's a kind of fair weather federalist. You love it when it's doing what you want, and then if it doesn't, you want the opposite.
But it's a dumb phrase, because federalist means the opposite of what it sounds like.
That's right, yeah. I mean, what we're really talking about, and it is kind of genius, you decentralize power across 50 states or however many you have.
And that's what we call federalized.
That's right. And that's a good idea.
And in taxes, we have some competition. It keeps California from being worse than it is because it has Texas as a model.
One hopes, and you know, when you look at California and Texas, the two biggest states in the country, California takes in about almost 12% of its state economy in state and local taxes. Texas only about 7.5%. So you know, one state has high taxes and high services, the other has low taxes and low services. People can sort based on, you know, which model they like.
And they're moving to Texas.
They do seem to be.
Gay marriage, state experimentation.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Yeah, well, it is in the sense that a bunch of states have both passed laws or had lawsuits that have legalized gay marriage in the states, in various states. And now the federal government, which does not technically recognize that or doesn't allow that, is starting to say, okay, we're going to have to let the states experiment. And hopefully this, as it rolls out, it's similar to pot legalization. You know, people can learn from those experiments and say, yeah, we like this or we don't like this, or we can tweak it when it comes to our state.
And alcohol prohibition ended in the same way.
Yes, that's right. Well, what happened was there was a constitutional amendment that said it everywhere. And then when it was repealed, it was left up to the states. And there were states like Oklahoma, which didn't actually go back to allowing the sale of liquor for decades after prohibition was repealed.
Abortion was a state controversy until Roe v. Wade.
That's right, and this is where you get into a weird thing about, do you want a federal law or state laws? Before Roe versus Wade in 1973, a bunch of states, New York first and foremost, had liberalized or essentially legalized abortion, and it was starting to roll out on a state-by-state basis. Some states would have it, others wouldn't. What Roe versus Wade said was, no, in the first 3 months of pregnancy at least, every woman in every state in the country has the right essentially to abortion on demand. And this is where
they found this right in the Constitution somehow.
Yeah, well, what they said was that it's under the rights of privacy that came from an earlier decision about contraception. And, you know, this is where you get into the question of federalism. If it's an essential right, you know, that you have as a citizen of the United States, it should be recognized everywhere. Or is it one of these things where it really should be up to different states or localities to say, yeah, you know, this is okay. You know, an instance of that is New Jersey and Oregon, for instance, don't allow people to pump gas. They say it's too dangerous. You know, we just can't have that.
Well, that was the original reason. Now they say, oh, it'll take jobs away.
That's right. But, you know, is this something like, do I have the right to pump my own gas? You know, as somebody who pumps gas in New Jersey, you know, I benefited from it as a college graduate, pumping gas. That was my first job.
No, you do not have that right in 2 states. You can move if it matters that much to you.
Yes.